Hey guys, welcome back to Ready to Survival in Fieldcraft. I'm Andrew. What I have for you today is the Jungle Survival Kit. I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into this video, starting with tools. And that first tool, obviously, is going to be a machete for any wetland, swamp, or jungle environment. Machete is going to be king out there for survival, or guaranteeing, or at least providing for survival. No guarantees in survival, but the machete in a jungle environment is the primary tool to take out there, because with it, we can recreate everything. And this is a very cheap machete. I've got the USGI military sheath on this. Cut it off because the machete is short. And this machete is just a cheap Spanish machete. Very thin, very flexible, high carbon steel. Went ahead and put a new edge on this blade to make it sharp for processing. And this thing has seen a lot of use over the years, clearly, and is still an old, reliable machete to take out into the field. It's good because the flexibility obviously means that we can cut and actually bend this machete just a little bit as we cut, maintaining flexibility, but also strength behind that cut when processing a lot of materials in a jungle environment like bamboo. So that machete is going to be that first tool. Next, we're going to bring just a small knife. We may want to go with stainless steel in a jungle environment because that carbon steel knife like this is going to rust fairly easily with all that moisture, but a small fixed blade knife for processing, for carving, fine carving tasks, camp craft, all those things. We can get it done with a machete, but having a fixed blade knife is going to be another tool on the belt. If we drop the machete or leave it behind on a scout, we still got a fixed blade knife that we can survive with. And then the last tool that would probably be good on the hip, a personal carry tool, something for everyday use, a utility item as well. It's going to be that multi-tool. Reason being is that, yes, we have all of those blades, but we also have that file on here to maintain the edge of our machete, as well as our fixed blade knife. And this one we can detach so we can maintain the blades on this tool as well. But primarily for pliers. Not only can we cut wire, obviously, but we have an extra set of hands in these pliers, pulling something hot out of the fire, or getting thorns out of the flesh. In a jungle environment, thorns are everywhere, and you're going to get a thorn in your skin at some point, or you may have to grab something out of the skin of your buddy as part of your group. But having pliers or a multi-tool like this gives us a lot of options, especially in a jungle environment. All right, next, let's talk cordage. We got two different types of 550 cord here, or paracord. One is going to be your standard type 3 paracord, 700 strands, 550-pound tensile strength right here, 100 feet in our donut roll is going to be great for survival, especially in a jungle environment, because this is going to hang tough fairly well, and we can build shelters with all the material around us just using that machete or any one of our tools. But with 550 cord, we can hang everything up. We can construct traps. The downside with paracord like this in a jungle environment, and especially when exposed to sunlight and moisture over a long time, is that it will degrade and that color will fade out. But it's still awesome survival gear because we can take the inner strands and make a gill net to go after fish in those streams out there in the jungle and try to catch some food. So 550 cord is going to be cordage. And then we have larger gauge, 550 cord or paracord, large inner strands as part of the cordage, but this is about 50 feet or so. And with this, we could use it as a ridge line. We could use it for stringing up our gear. We can also use it as a mooring line for our raft that is part of our kit. But having a larger cordage like this could enhance our mobility, especially moving up or down a slippery slope. We could use this as a handrail, tie it on an anchor point, lower it down, and then attach it to other anchor points along the way and use it as a handhold or a way to do kind of a slippery rappel down that hillside. So having large gauge cordage or rope like this is good as well. And then speaking of gill nets with paracord or the inner strands, we want a robust fishing kit. That fishing kit so we can go after the fish in the streams and in the rivers. There are large fish to be had in a jungle environment. And so here we have just a lot of fish line wrapped around a different spool. It's about 200 yards of 10-pound tensile strength that could add or increase the tensile strength of our fishing line to go after a wide variety of fish. We have just a little bit of wire for traps, and then a couple of bobbers with the weights already attached so we can get that line and hook out there. And then we have just a small kit with all the hooks, sinkers, even some treble hooks and swivels to go along with our kit. And we can also include in this kit lures as well to get those fish to bite on, but we're gonna look for bait around the area. Bugs are gonna be all over the place in a jungle, obviously, and we can use that as bait to go after fish and get ourselves a bite to eat. And next in this utility pouch, there are a couple of different survival items. A utility pouch like this for all those smaller items is great to have. We just want to make sure we hang on to this thing and it is secure at all times because it's got a lot of the survival stuff in it we need in the event we ditch our kit or we're left with all we've got and we have to make fire or we have to signal for rescue. Inside this utility pouch, I keep all the smaller items. That first item is going to be a sew kit. A sewing kit in the jungle is incredibly important because the clothing is going to degrade, and this is a little bit of a mess at the moment. As you can see, all of the items in here, the thread, needles, and a few safety pins, along with some buttons in the small military kit. We have a sewing kit that we can put our clothing back together with because that clothing is going to get torn, thorns and brush, and we're going to have to repair it, especially over long durations. So having a sew kit is really, really, really important in a jungle environment to maintain clothing, that first line of protection. And next we've got some water treatment tablets. We want to carry a lot of water treatment tablets out there in the field in a jungle environment because fire is not always a guarantee everything's going to be wet. And so having chemical means of treating water is going to be very important to treat that water to make it safe to drink. So we've got iodine tablets. So next we've got our fire kit items. That first thing is going to be a candle, a large votive candle like this that we can light, then place underneath our fire lay to get that fire lit, or at least use this to dry out that material, and then as a long-lasting flame extender to get that fire going. And then next, SBIT cubes. I like to throw a few of these in a fire kit in a jungle environment because we can light these. Again, long-lasting tinder source or flame source that we can get a fire going with. And next, a ferro rod with the striker attached. We may not always have our tools with us. We should, but if we don't, we want to have a striker on this ferro rod just to make sure it works. In the event this is all we have that striker. We're not relying on rocks to try to get our fire started. So we get a striker attached to our ferro rod, combined with our tinder to get a fire going. We've got more tinder, cotton balls and Vaseline in a film canister with tape wrapped around it. We could use that tape as a flame extender as well, but cotton balls and Vaseline are a great tinder source to get a fire going, especially if we know that the material we're working with, even though it may be a little compromised from the moisture outside in a jungle environment, we can still use this to get that fire going. And then next, matches, storm-proof matches with a little bit of extra tinder inside in the form of a cotton ball. These matches, storm-proof, with an extra striker inside. That tinder doubles as a way to keep the matches from rubbing around in there or breaking apart. And then we have that extra striker inside in case the one outside is no good. And it has a small ferro rod on the bottom so we could even crush up the matches and use the ferro rod to ignite those to get a fire going. But matches are still a good source for starting fires. And then the best fire lighting item is going to be that lighter with duct tape wrapped around it, so we can use the duct tape as a flame extender. We could also put little bits of rubber on this lighter and use that. Rubber burns a long time. But we've got that number one way, instant flame to start fire right there. And then I also like to keep small signaling items in utility kits like this. So we've got our aviator panel, orange marker that we can use to signal. And then we've got our signaling mirror, whistle attached, auditory and visual signals especially. And so we could throw that in there as signaling items. And then lastly, I like to have a headlamp in there with extra batteries. We can use this at nighttime as a signal, although it's going to be hard to see through the dense jungle, but we can use this primarily to see what we're doing at nighttime and keep the boogeyman away. So we've got that headlamp, and that's it. And then speaking of water, we've got a canteen cup, a metal container to boil water in, and we also have that GI canteen. Special about this one, besides the cap and being able to drink through the cap, this one actually has a filter inside, so we can use that filter to drink water. We just want to make sure we strain that water into the canteen before we pass it through the filter. That way we don't jam up the filter. But we've got a complete water kit right here. But on top of this and on top of those iodine tablets that we had earlier, we have a Camelback. We want a large container, probably one even bigger than this, is about 80 ounces. We can go up to 100 ounces or even carry additional bladders with us to transport and carry as much water as possible. In a jungle environment, the humidity is going to prevent us from actually cooling off with the sweat. We'll continue to sweat and get dehydrated, but we have to replenish that water in our body. So having a lot of containers to store water and transport water or carry clean water with us is going to be important as well. And then next, medical aid items and comfort items. Obviously bug spray to keep the bugs away, mosquitoes away, but then a robust medical aid kit for all those bumps, bruises, and abrasions, everything we're gonna get out in a jungle environment, plus some medication in here. We can even add to this as well, but a good, robust medical aid kit that's got all the good stuff that we need in one nice, neat package. And this is resealable. that we can store our items in, waterproof these items to make them safe, and then use these when we need them. Well, we've got a lot of bandages as well as medication and even moleskin for our feet. We want to take care of our feet, obviously, in a jungle environment. So bring along a lot of foot powder and extra socks. So we've got that. Then for shelter, we obviously have a mosquito net. We're going to want one with our shelter as well to keep the bugs at bay at nighttime when we're trying to get some sleep. Sleeping while bugs are biting your face is never fun, but this is one we can wear while we're around camp if the bugs are heavy. We've got that poncho that we can wear. Doubles as a tarp to go over our shelter, and then the bungee cords wrapped around it for ease of deployment, plus a quick deploy ridge line inside. And then we've got our hammock to get up off the ground underneath that tarp shelter to stay dry at night, but then to not sleep on the ground where all the bugs are crawling around. So a hammock, obviously, in the jungle environment is best. And then we've got our bedroll, which is a poncho liner and a couple other items to get a good night's sleep that are also water resistant. So in the event we do get some water in our shelter, we can try to stay dry as best as possible and then take these out and dry them next to the fire. But comfort items to roll up in and get a good night's sleep. And then we've got a wet weather coat, again with bungee cords wrapped around it for our shelter, but we can wear this if we've got to go outside of our tarp, outside of our shelter to mess around with the fire or get something out, or if we've got to use the latrine or utilize the wood line at nighttime, we can slap this on, or if we're traveling around, we can put this on to help stay dry or keep some of the rain off of us while we're moving around in a jungle environment. And then some other items to wear. We've got gloves to protect the hands while we're moving around. Everything in the jungle has thorns on it or wants to hurt you, so having gloves to protect your digits is going to be incredibly important. That's why we have that first aid kit to bandage up all the cuts that'll be on our skin. But wearing gloves is going to be crucial. And we've just got a sniper veil. We can use this to wear, get it wet, wrap it around the neck to help cool off, or drape this over our head to keep the bugs away if we don't have our mosquito net. We can use this sniper veil for a lot of different things. It has larger holes in it, obviously, as compared to a shamag or any other type of scarf, and that's gonna let air flow through it so we can wear this, protect ourselves, and then stay cool all at the same time. And that's something that is awesome in a jungle environment or any wetland environment, something to keep our gear dry if we've got more clothing with us or other items, or we need to string something up in the tree, is a sea-lined bag. This is a 30 liter, so we can shove a lot of stuff in this to protect it, but we can also use this as a water bladder, scoop up water in it, and then take it back to camp, and then pull water from this, put it over the fire in a metal container or filter it, and we've got a way to treat that water to make it safe to drink, but then we have a large amount of water right there at camp that we can grab at ease rather than walking to and from that water source constantly to collect water. We can just grab as much as we want and take it back with us. And then we have a paddle for our raft. This one, bright orange, so hopefully we don't lose it, but we can recreate a paddle, obviously, from natural materials if we need to, or reconstruct the entire raft from natural materials using our machete. But this one is telescopic. It'll extend, and we can use this to paddle around with, and then for ease of travel, collapse that down and strap this to our pack and move out. And then along with that paddle and that raft, we need a work vest or a life preserver. This one is lightweight, love the camouflage. We can activate it if we go in the drink by pulling the tab here, or if we go in the drink and we're knocked unconscious for whatever reason, this thing will actually activate for us and bring us back up to the surface, saving our lives. So we need a work vest. We want to have this on anytime we cross a water source. And that last item is part of this kit, that one-man raft. A lot of water sources and a lot of rivers and streams and creeks and different water danger areas in a jungle environment that we're going to have to cross. And if they're large, we can use this one-man raft to get a single person across with equipment, or we could use this as a flotation device to ferry man, weapons, and equipment across that water source safely. But this thing is money for crossing water sources. It's similar to a sea-lined bag. We just open up one end, fill it with air, and then we roll the end down. In fact, this is the end right here, these black straps. We clip them together, and then there's a hose attached to this raft where we inflate it fully with air, or if we're out in the water too long and this thing starts to lose just a little bit of air, because it will over time, we can use that hose, blow more air into it, reinflate it, and keep moving around that water source if we're out there fishing, or if we're trying to cross a water source, or if we're trying to move down a river, whatever it is. But this thing is awesome for crossing water sources and is going to be one of the key survival items for a survivalist out there in the jungle. Now, it is somewhat fragile because this thing could catch a sharp rock and puncture, but we have repair items as part of our kit to take care of any small holes in that with tape, whatever it is. It lasts long enough for us to move down that river and find civilization and get rescued. So, one-man raft with our work vest and our paddle is going to be a great transportation item for survival. All right, guys, that does it for this video. Just a quick down and dirty video of a jungle survival kit with everything from mobility to firecraft to watercraft, sheltercraft, signaling for rescue, as well as some safety items and then tools for the jungle environment. So I really hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate your feedback. I want to thank you guys for everything you do for me, for this channel, for your likes, your views, your subscriptions, your comments, your feedback, and your shares. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.